You know, niggas gotta get their priorities together. Got their mind on the wrong things, spending their money in the wrong way.
Trapaholics, real trap shit.
Say you need that car with the rims and a charm, just like Jim. It's more than life. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Talk to him.
Say you need that LV bag
For what?
with the belt and the hat.
That's all you got though.
It's more than life. Yeah.
Talk to him. Real.
Say you wanna turn up at the club,
Why?
buy some bottles, impress them girls.
what?
It's more than life.
Oh, fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saints and Appetizers podcast. And who dat? And I'm Ethan. And on this podcast, I don't really have that much to talk about, but a few things I do have to talk about are controversial, interesting. I don't really know how to define them, I guess, but let's get right into them. So, can I get a menu? And the first one isn't, I guess, necessarily Saints news, but I guess it's kind of Saints related, and it's New Orleans. New Orleans. You could maybe say it's a appetizers, but it's just it's kind of, I want to say it's kind of an example of how the world can come at you fast. Things can change real quickly, and the narrative of things can change real fast, you know. And it can make sports fans forget about things really fast, and forget about villains. Change our focus on who our hate and venom goes to really quick. So we were had a lot of our focus and hate towards Eddie Pinheiro after he missed those two field goals against Atlanta, keeping the NFC South from being all tied up 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 3-5. So yeah, so you know, so everyone was all upset at him for missing those two field goals. But then one of our own did something just a couple days later, costing us a game in which he had not field goals, but free throws. Our boy, the Australian rookie Pelicans player, New Orleans Pelicans player, Australian rookie Dyson Daniels, with just, what was it, just 1.6 seconds left in the game against the Los Angeles Lakers a couple nights ago. All he had to do was make one free throw to ice that game away, and he misses both of those free throws, not necessarily costing the game, but in addition, you know, isto facto costing them the game, because what led to that next, we thought we were done having a guy like Matt Ryan, a sports player named Matt Ryan, haunting us in the last seconds of games, like Matt Ryan did a couple last season when he helped completed a pass to Cordell Patterson down the sidelines when he burned Paulson Adebo with that wheel route. We thought we were done with players named Matt Ryan hit a three-pointer to send the game into overtime, where the Los Angeles Lakers ended up beating the New Orleans Pelicans 120 to 117. So all of that about Eddie Pinheiro is quickly forgotten, and then a lot of the hate and vitriol is quickly shifted to Dyson Daniels. So it's just the world can come at you very fast. That's just what I wanted to get at there. So not directly Saints related and not directly football related, but I just wanted to just highlight how you can have a lot of hate directed at another fan base and another fan base's player, and then it can shift very quickly onto one of your own players, just like that. And leading into the next topic, and this is kind of similar. This is not due to necessarily directly what a player did in a game or something he did, um, maybe like say his activities off the field, but something he's been dealing with going on 2.5, 3 years now, and this is injuries. And I think by now everyone's heard this, and this is Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is once again dealing with what is looking like a season-ending injury. And this is coming 7 weeks later after what we had heard was just a turf toe injury. And when that first came out, we had heard it came out the same time that Jarvis Landry had sprained his ankle, and Michael Thomas had the turf injury at the same time, and both of them had happened. And they were saying that it looked like both of them had dodged serious injuries, and both of them were expected to be back sooner rather than later. And even what but right before the Cincinnati Bengals game, there was a report out saying that they expected both of them to be back after that game, the next week after that game, and then still doesn't look like um, doesn't look like uh, maybe Jarvis Landry won't be coming back until maybe this Ravens game this week, which will be week 9. And now it looks like Michael Thomas is done for the season. So you hear all these reports, and you just don't know what to believe when it comes to injuries. But now it's week 9, and he probably should have just been put on IR from when it just happened. But now it's week, like I'm trying to get to, it's week 9, and they did another MRI, and just when they did that MRI, they found that there was a second dislocated toe. Like how did you not find that in the first diagnosis, in the first MRI? How do you go 7 weeks without not realizing that you had a second dislocated toe that entire time? That's like one of the craziest things I've ever heard. That's not as bad as the Delvin Bro situation where the training staff was trying to make him go out there and play on a broken leg, but it's pretty close. I don't know how he could how they could misdiagnose him having a dislocated toe for 7 weeks. And once again, they wanted to try to see if he could heal naturally, see if it would heal on its own. That sounds just like last year when they were wanting to see how his ankle would respond to just healing on its own. Like, did they learn nothing from last year? Obviously, Michael Thomas does not respond well to natural healing. Like, if uh, if surgery is on the table with any kind of injury with Michael Thomas, he just needs to get the surgery right then and there. He doesn't respond well to natural healing. I don't know if Michael Thomas is into some kind of natural healing or spiritual healing, or he's afraid to go under the knife or something. But he is not. He doesn't have Wolverine blood in him like Russell Wilson. He needs to go anytime he has a serious injury or like I said, surgeries on the table. He needs to go under the knife and have the surgery right away because it's clear by now that he doesn't respond well to natural healing. He's not a fast healer. He just needs to get it done. That is horrible misdiagnosis by the medical staff. And by now, if they haven't been fired, they need to be because that is just ridiculous. And with his contract and the cap hit and the dead money. I just don't know what they can do with all of that. They they, they can't really cut him. They really can't trade him. When I read comments and stuff, it drives me insane when I see uneducated fans saying that they need to trade him while they can for a first round pick. Like you're not going to get anything out of him for a trade. Like you would be lucky to get a sixth or a seventh round pick for him. Probably no team would trade for him because they wouldn't want to take on his 30 million dollar cap hit. If anything, if you were to try to trade him to another team, they'd want you to eat all the cap. So you're not going to get a first, you're not going to get a second round draft pick. So all those fans out there saying trade him or cut him, that's not going to happen. Like the only way you're going to be able to do anything like that is if Michael Thomas is somehow in super good graces with the team and somehow they do some kind of restructured contract injury settlement. I don't even know how that works. I've never really even heard of anything like that. The only thing I've heard of similar to that is when Drew Brees retired and he structured his contract to where it was only like a $1 million cap hit at the end of his career. But like they're just really stuck with his contract. But man, this is like Groundhog Day with how this just sounds like 2021 all over again with the misdiagnosis with the doctors and the complications with the doctors and the injury not healing naturally and that he should have had the surgery right away. It's like I'm living in the Twilight Zone or something. This just, I'm not really mad at Michael Thomas at this point. I'm just confused. I just, it's just once again, just like with the Saints losing and the trade, the back when there was rumors about Alvin Kamara possibly being traded, and people got all upset about that. And then when Andy Dalton was being named the starter, and people getting all upset about this. Now that this is happening, like I said, every time something crazy and ridiculous like this happens, it's just at this point, it's just comical. It just continues to be a clown show around here. But I'm getting out of breath talking about these kind of things. So I guess we'll go on to the injury report for the week, for the week 9 versus the Baltimore Ravens. And I had said earlier that the Saints had these they're playing on Thursday kind of gave them a mini bye, and then playing on Monday was giving them extra time to get healthy, and then boom, they get hit with a devastating news that Michael Thomas is done for the season. Like, well, so much for that. But get into this injury report anyways. Uh, so so let's look at this here. So of course, Michael Thomas didn't practice on Thursday, and that's something I mentioned already. That was what was weird about the injury report last week is that people, media people and stuff, saw him on Wednesday. Like he was suited up and kind of out there, like pre-stretches, and he was around the team and he was in pads and stuff, and then he was out there for a little bit, and then he went back inside, and then no one ever saw him for the rest of the week, and he was designated as didn't practice. So that's what is so weird about this situation. Uh, but I don't know. But anyways, obviously Michael Thomas, foot didn't practice. Obviously, not going to practice for the rest of the week. Right now, I only have Thursday, but I saw a little bit of who's gonna who practice for Friday as well. I don't think it changed much for Friday. But anyways, running back, Mark Ingram, knee, didn't practice. Marshawn Lattimore, abdomen, didn't practice. Jarvis Landry, ankle, limited. Adam Trotman, ankle, limited. Ryan Ramczyk, rest and knee, limited. David Onyemata, thigh, limited. Eric McCoy, shoulder, limited. And Chase Hansen, knee, limited. And the only change to this that I saw from like early practice and walk around and stretching and stuff was Chase Hansen, I think, didn't practice on Friday. So on to Baltimore's. So the Saints weren't the only team that was hit with like bad news about one of their starting wide receiver. Rashad Bateman, the starting Baltimore wide receiver, he also is done, I think, done for the season with a foot injury as well. I think his was a Les Frank injury or something. So he's also done for the season. So it's not just the Saints having bad luck with foot injuries and things of that nature, and at the same position as well. So Rashad Bateman, foot did not practice. Mark Andrew, shoulder and knee did not practice. He got beat up in the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last Thursday. So he's shoulder, did not practice. Gus Edwards, hamstring, did not practice. He that happened in the game against the Buccaneers as well. Calais Campbell, rest, did not practice. Justin Houston, rest, did not practice. He got like the record-breaking sack on Tom Brady in that game against the Buccaneers. So Brady's been sacked the most times all time by a quarterback in NFL history. Ronnie Stanley, rest, did not practice. Marlon Humphrey, hamstring, limited. Marcus Peters, quadricep, knee, limited. Tyrus Bowser, Achilles, full practice. Josh Bynes, quadricep, limited. David Njigbo, Achilles, full. So their injury reports kind of similar to the Saints. Not far off with the same amount of players. Their health meters probably pretty similar. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on to see if Mark Andrews and Gus Edwards play. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on, because that would be big. That would definitely be big if Mark Andrews and Gus Edwards don't play. in this game. Hot takes for this game. But this will be that's probably one of my uh, out there, maybe one of my going out on a limb hot takes, and this is one of those predicated hot takes, similar to a couple weeks ago when I predicted uh, uh, predicted that let's see predicted a sack from Peyton Turner, but I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that Jarvis Landry catches a touchdown. Uh, so if he actually plays, then maybe that'll happen. So I'm going to predict that Jarvis Landry catches a touchdown in this game, but he'll have to play for that to actually happen. And then for who I predict to win this game, I'm gonna. I actually think the Saints can win this game, even though the Ravens improved quite a bit in this game. Improved by adding Roquan Smith, and I actually didn't think that they were that impressive against the game against the Buccaneers last Thursday. Like I think their defense can be had in the run game and in the secondary, but I think they did improve quite a bit by adding Roquan Smith. Like I said, of course they had to add him before they played the Saints, but I think the Saints, if they continue to play like they have offensively, I think they can put points up the against the Ravens, and I think if their defense plays inspired football like they did against the Raiders, I think they can beat them too. So I think I'm going to go with the Saints to actually win this game. So I think I'm going to pick the Saints to win 27 to 20. So I think that's all I have for you. So who dat? And can I get a menu